Hello dear friends, welcome back to another video from Biology at the Red Project. In this video lecture I am very excited because I am going to talk about one of the most important process of molecular biology, that is initiation of DNA replication in eukaryotes. Earlier I have already discussed on prokaryotic DNA replication. Although the basic process of DNA replication is same in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes, DNA replication initiation steps are completely different and complex process compared to the prokaryotic DNA replication, and this lecture will explain the exact steps of replication initiation in eukaryotic cells. So, eukaryotic DNA replication is the only process where prokaryotic and eukaryotic system differs a lot in comparison to transcription and translation in both the system. The genomes of most eukaryotes are larger and more complex than those of prokaryotes. The presence of large amount of non-coding sequences is a general property of the genomes in eukaryotes. Much of the complexity of eukaryotic genomes thus results from the abundance of several different types of non-coding sequences which constitute most of the DNA of higher eukaryotic cells. So you need to understand this important and interesting process very well, and of course in step by step manner. Eukaryotic cells must accurately and efficiently duplicate their genome during each round of the cell cycle. Multiple linear chromosomes, an abundance of regulatory elements, and chromosome packaging are all challenges that the eukaryotic DNA replication machinery must successfully overcome. You already know that replication process can be classified in three major steps: the initiation phase, the elongation part, and finally the termination. Here in this video we will have a detailed look on the initiation of DNA replication in eukaryotes. Now we can see the DNA molecule. Whereas prokaryotic DNA is circular, eukaryotic DNA is linear, which unlike the prokaryotes is bound with histone proteins. So to proceed forward, the eukaryotic DNA must have to unwrap from the histone proteins. Eukaryotic DNA has multiple origin of replication. At the molecular level, eukaryotic origins of replications have been extensively studied in the yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. In this organism, several replication origins have been identified and sequenced. The yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae, for example, has about 332 origins corresponding to 1 per 36 kilobase pair of DNA, and in case of humans, which have some 20,000 origins, that is for 1 in every 150 kilobase pair of DNA. As eukaryotic genome is more complex, so in compared to prokaryotes, the rate of eukaryotic replication is slower, which is approximately 50 nucleotides are added per second. The multiple sites for the origin of replication in eukaryotes are also known as replicators or autonomously replicating sequence, which is shortened as ARS, autonomously replicating sequence. ARS elements contain a high percentage of A and T bases. A typical yeast origin is shorter than E. coli origin, being usually less than 200 base pair in length, and it is usually near about 150 base pair. But like the E. coli origin, the yeast origin also contains discrete segments with different functional roles. 4 subdomains has already been recognized in E. coli genome. 2 of these are subdomain A and B1, which make up the origin recognition sequence, a stretch of some 40 base pair in total, that is the binding site for the origin recognition complex, a set of 6 proteins that attach to the origin sequence and it has an ATPase activity. ORC, that is origin recognition protein complex, recognize the consensus sequence within the autonomously replicating sequence or ARS, and that particular sequence, that particular consensus sequence is named as ARS consensus sequence or ACS, ARS consensus sequence. Two of other concept sequence apart from the A and B1 in typical yeast origin are subdomains B2 and B3. Subdomain B2 is the position at which the two strands of the DNA helix are first separated. This melting is induced by the attachment of a DNA binding protein, that is ARS binding factor 1, which is shortened as ABF1. ABF1, ARS binding factor 1. It's a protein which attaches to subdomain B3. DNA replication in eukaryotes requires the assembly of a pre-replication complex (pre-RC) during the G1 phase of the cell cycle. The binding of origin recognition complex, that is ORC, on specific DNA sequence is the foundation for the pre-RC assembly, pre-replication complex assembly. ORC promotes the binding of cell division cycle 6 proteins CDC6 and CDC10 dependent transcript 1 protein, that is CDT1. Both of these CDC6 and CDT1 proteins are kinase in nature and are needed for helicase loading on specific sequence of DNA. Then a protein complex made up of 6 protein monomer, which is called as mini chromosome maintenance or MCM helicase, that is MCM227 complex. The helicase protein bind the DNA in G1 phase but don't show its helicase activity. Now it will be the transition from G1 to S phase, and it is mediated by CDK and DDK enzyme complex. The CDK phosphorylates CDC6 protein and DDK phosphorylate the MCM helicase. Now the CDT1 protein will be inhibited by another protein, that is geminin, and phosphorylated CDC6 protein will also be degraded after phosphorylation. Finally, the ORISI will also be phosphorylated by CDK, which caused dissociation of the ORISI from the chromatin and the origin of replication in the S phase. Therefore, at the replication fork, the DNA helicase catalyzes the separation of the two strands of duplex DNA. These enzymes bind to and move directionally along the single-stranded DNA using the energy from nucleoside triphosphate, usually ATP, binding and hydrolysis. ATP hydrolysis provides the energy for breaking the hydrogen bonds by the helicase enzyme. The supercoils introduced by the action of the DNA helicase are resolved by the topoisomerases that act on the unreplicated double-stranded DNA in front of the replication fork. Phosphorylated MCM will recruit the next protein, that is CDC45, which interacts between MCM7 and DNA polymerase alpha and also activates the helicase activity of MCM protein. Phosphorylated MCM will again attach the genes protein complex, GINS protein complex, which is a coactivator of initiation, DNA replication initiation, and this forms the CMG proteins assembly on DNA. The CMG assembly includes C for CDC45, M for mini chromosome maintenance proteins, and Z for GINS proteins. This CMG will move on DNA. It will melt the DNA and make a site for DNA polymerase. Now this diagram elucidates the molecular assembly what we have already mentioned during the initiation of eukaryotic DNA replication. The CMG assembly on DNA will recruit the MCM10 and CTF4 complex, which will in turn recruit the RPA protein, that is replication protein A, primase enzyme, and the DNA polymerase alpha enzyme. Heterotrimeric replication protein A or RPA prevents the reannealing of the DNA strands like the single-stranded proteins of eukaryotes. Now, then RFC or recognition factor C is a DNA clump loader. It loads the proliferating cell nuclear antigen protein, that is PCNA, which acts on DNA sliding clamp and holds the DNA in a ring-like manner. With this protein, that is PCNA protein, DNA polymerase does not detach from the synthesis site. RMP or replication mediator proteins are responsible for the detachment of this replication protein A, that is single-stranded binding protein, which allow the binding of primates and different DNA polymerases on single-stranded DNA. A positive supercoils which accumulate in front of the replication fork, we can see in the diagram. Topoisomerases rapidly remove or resolve the supercoil. In this diagram, the action of topoisomerase removes the positive supercoil induced by the replication fork. By passing one part of the unreplicated double-stranded DNA through a double-stranded break in a nearly unreplicated region, the positive supercoils can be removed. The CMG assembly, we have already mentioned, that recruits the primase polymerase alpha and the single-stranded binding-like proteins. In eukaryotes, the primase is tightly bound to the DNA polymerase alpha and cooperates with this enzyme in synthesis of the first few nucleotides of new polynucleotide. This primase synthesizes an RNA primer of 5 to 10 ribonucleotides, and then it hands over to DNA polymerase alpha, which extends the RNA primer by adding up to 20 nucleotides of DNA. This DNA stretch often has a few ribonucleotides mixed in, but it is not clear if these are incorporated by DNA polymerase alpha or by intermittent activity of the primase enzyme. After completion of the RNA DNA primer, because of its relatively low processivity of the DNA polymerase alpha and primase will rapidly replaced by the highly processive enzyme DNA polymerase delta and DNA polymerase epsilon. The process of replacing DNA polymerase alpha and primase by the DNA polymerase delta and or DNA polymerase epsilon is called as polymerase switching, and it results in 3 different DNA polymerases functioning at the eukaryotic replication fork. DNA polymerase delta and epsilon are specialized to synthesize different strands at the replication fork. That is, DNA polymerase epsilon synthesizes the leading strand and DNA polymerase delta are responsible for the lagging strand synthesis. And now from here the elongation process starts. So this is all about the initiation process of DNA replication in eukaryotes in detail. In the next video we will discuss about the elongation of replication. It will be followed by termination process, and I hope you like the video. If you have any doubts, you can comment on this video. Please share the video with your friends and subscribe to this channel to get more and more videos like this in future. Thank you very much. We will see you in the next video.